to our first public comment section. If there is anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak, we ask that you let us indicate on the computer or step up to the podium and introduce yourself. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close our first public comment section and enter into our report, starting with our superintendent report by Dr. Goldie.
Thank you. This evening, I'd like to report the retirement of Steve, the schooliest, the drama ed teacher, and TAC manager. And this should have been under retirement, not resignation in the board packet. We're very sorry to lose Steve to this position, but we wish him well in his retirement. The board's next learning opportunity will be on, I think it's May 21st at the board meeting, when the administrative team will present the last board workshop for this year around safety, which the board requested earlier this year. And in your board packet for the month of March, we spent $131,000, which is on par with where our spending has been in previous months. And with the passage of every month, Nick, the finance director, and I feel confident about making it through this current year. June can be a little bit of a different month with spending higher, but we feel there is enough there to cover it and to begin to rebuild an undesignated fund balance. As you remember from our FY24 audit, we're at 0 in that fund balance currently, and we would like to see it grow to 5%, which is about $670,000 of our current budget. I want to thank all the board members, the members of the administrative team, and the staff members who attended the town council meeting on Monday. I felt like the council understands our predicament that we are in with our financial shortfall and what we need to move the learning forward. They asked good questions, and they will continue to hear reports from other departments from the town before deciding whether to adopt this budget. The community forum was, I think, a worthwhile endeavor, and I thank those who came out. It gave administrators an opportunity to answer individual questions about their budgets, and I believe we'll continue to do this in future years. After the community forum, I was able to attend the one-act play exposure, and I felt like our students just did a fabulous job with that. And I want to thank Steve and Lexi, the schooliest, for directing this play and giving our students such a wonderful opportunity. And that concludes my report for the evening.
Thank you very much. Does the board have any questions or commentary? Okay. We'll head into the school board chair report. I don't have a whole lot. I also attended the forum on Monday the 20th, and that was followed by the one-act play, which we saw as well. I had brought my daughter, and she found it very enlightening as a freshman. And it was very well done. I mean, well done to the students. It was incredible. Very stressful, actually, as I'm watching it kind of unfold. So that's good. That's good acting when things keep you on the edge of your seat. And all the support crew, I know that takes a lot of effort on everyone's parts. It's truly a team effort. And I also attended the town council meeting on Monday, which I do, Dr. Fuller did an amazing job presenting, and Monica, your commentary was very, very good as well. And so I do have a good feeling about it. And yeah, I hope folks take you on your offer to meet with you if they have additional questions. And that concludes the chair report. So we'll have Abigail lead us in the student representative report.
With the transition to spring sports, track has kicked off preseason practices, once again focusing on encouraging students to treat themselves, their teammates, and other competitors with respect, while also striving to meet high standards of competition. Tennis has begun practices in the gym, but are hopeful to move outside soon. Boys and girls lacrosse and baseball and softball have also begun their practices. Earlier this week, Jalen from our high school cheer team, along with several of our youth cheerleaders, participated in the University of Maine cheerleading clinic in Orono. On the academic side, the fourth quarter is officially underway, and we are entering the final stretch of the school year. Everyone is working hard, and we're eager to see their continued progress as we wrap up the academic year. Last night, we held the National Honor Society Spring Induction Ceremony, where Jackson O'Hearn and Evan Bilito were inducted as new members. The officer installation ceremony also took place during this event, marking a new chapter for the NHS Society at our school. Looking ahead, our third annual Community Arts and Humanities Night will take place next week at Winthrop High School from 5 to 8 p.m. The theme this year is wearable art, and we're excited to showcase student creativity with features like free henna tattoos, hair braids, face painting, and duct tape jewelry. There will be delicious food, student artisan crafts for sale, and plenty of entertainment for all ages, including presentations in the library. Everyone is invited to come to the high school on April 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. to celebrate the arts with us.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. We'll go over to our committee reports. Finance?
We did not meet, but are scheduled to report out next school board meeting.
Thanks, Tim. Policy? We did not meet. And negotiations are ongoing for us, both for our support staff and bus driver. Thanks. Okay. There are no administrative reports in our packet this week, so we'll move on to 4.6 with our National Honor Society presentations.
Good evening. So this laptop has been used here before, so. Thank you for night 2 of sharing our presentations with you. Our seniors presented last night at the induction ceremony and received their stoles for graduation, which is always an exciting time. But thank you for giving them a chance to share with you as well the awesome projects that they did this year. First up will be Abby Rounds.
My senior service project, I decided to continue the Rambler rack. The Rambler rack is a free clothing rack that's located in the high school rotunda, just outside the library. The Rambler rack is for everyone. It's not just for those who have difficulty getting new clothes. It was designed as a way to reduce textile waste and giving the high school community a place to donate old clothes and give them a second life. It promotes a culture of recycling and sustainability that everyone can participate in. The Rambler rack is a legacy project. So it's been going on for a few years, and I decided to take it over my junior year actually, because no one picked it up for their senior service project. And then this year I officially took it over. It was really important to me because ever since I was little, thrifting has been a big part of my life. Going to yard sales with pockets full of change. And I believe now, especially in the age of consumerism, reuse, reduce, and recycling is such a big, important thing. So the Rambler rack is where students can get free clothes and reuse free of charge. And so what I did was I decorated it for the different seasons, as you can see behind you on the screen, just to kind of promote it. And then to add on to the project, I publicized it at town meetings and created an Instagram page. We also have some prom dresses that were donated, and so if anyone needs a prom dress, let me know. And then I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Boucher and her class, who washed and folded all the donations to Miss Marshall, our librarian, who gave raffle tickets out for students who donated, Miss Doucette and Miss Marshall, who directed the progresses my way, and Jade Huckey, who helped me my junior year before I officially took it over. And then finally, all the excess clothes donations were donated to Tabitha's Closet to further help the community. Thank you.
I love seeing the prom dresses. That's a great idea. Does the board have any questions or comments at all? Okay. We'll have our next presentation.
Hello, I am Libby, and this is Alan, and our project was making goodie bags for children in the foster care system here. Our mission was really to just give these kids something that is their own, that they can have through like crazy times of being in waiting rooms and waiting for placements or getting moved around a lot. They have something that is completely their own, and it's all in a little bag, and they'll move it around. We worked with Project Sparrow to make this possible. They were a very big help, and they're actually who were donating on the bags too. And then we also had help from a community member, Kelly Hooper, who helped us like set up everything because she had worked with a student previously doing this project.
And then for how we executed this, we made a wish list on Amazon. So it's displayed on the left there, and it had a bunch of different items like all of our fidget toys and the bags that we were putting everything in. And we put a bunch of things on this wish list. The community was amazing, cleared it once, so we filled it again, and they almost completely cleared it again, which was so helpful to make these bags full. And then I also made some homemade hats, and I put them into the bags, and each one took about an hour and a half to make. And the reason I did this was because I wanted the children in the foster care system to feel like they had something that was their own, that was homemade, because a lot of the times they get a lot of donated stuff that's packaged, and while that's absolutely amazing and very helpful, I wanted something to be unique to them.
To get all the donations we needed for this project, I created a flyer that was put up both on all of our websites and our Instagram and Facebooks and everything, as well as it went up on my mom's work. And it just has all the information for it, and then a QR code that was directly to the Amazon wish list. And again, a lot of people bought a ton from there. We also received a lot of cash donations through my mom's work as well.
So one morning, Libby and I decided we'd get together and put the bags. So we ended up making 48 bags in total, and each bag has multiple fidget toys, hygiene products, and one hat, and those will be donated at a later date. But as you can see, there's an example of some of the fidget toys that went in the bags, as well as the hats in the process of putting them together.
Well done. Thank you very much. Our next presentation.
Okay, hi, my name is Catherine, and for my project, I did Winthrop High School library inventory. So the purpose of my project, it's a legacy senior project. So basically, some of my jobs are I weed out old books that are less popular and kind of just take up space. Nobody's checked them out in a while. I wrap new books, get those ready to go on the shelves. As well, we just got it's a machine, it's called Cricut, and so basically what it does, I have some pictures here, is you can design logos, decorations, anything for the library or the bulletin board surrounding, and it'll print it out on construction paper. I find that this and then other little tasks such as watering the plants help spruce up the library, help it be a welcoming environment for all during tutorials, passing periods, anything like that. As for the process for doing inventory, old books, we have a computer system, it's called Alexandria. You have to take all the books out of there, and then once all the Winthrop High School logos are crossed out, we have a little table, and I think I have a picture of it, but it's in the library and all the books go on there, and so then anybody, community members, staff, students can take them home. They're free to take. And then for wrapping new books, hardcover and softcover are a little bit different. For hardcover, they have like a plastic film that goes around the book jackets, and then for the softcover books, they have like a sticker that like adheres to the book itself to keep them safe. And the reason I chose to do this project is because it helps our librarian, Miss Marshall, free up time for her classes that she teaches, and she is also one of the advisors for our civil rights team, which I'm a member of. And so through this legacy project, it frees up time for her to spend more time on those clubs and organizations.
Thank you very much. Any board questions at all? Our next presenter.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Martin, and my senior service project was the Caring Cupboard. The Caring Cupboard is a collection of essential items that we provide to the students of Winthrop High School. Our goal is to provide students with the resources they need to achieve both personal and academic success. We provide various products such as food, hygiene products, and school supplies. I have pictures of our various cupboards here. And our items are accessible through 2 public outposts. We have one in the library, which mainly has hygiene and school supplies. And then our most popular Rotunda outpost is mostly food. We provide meals, canned foods, and snacks to, give students a pick-me-up throughout the day. My contributions to this project have been stocking the outposts, supplying the girls' bathrooms with feminine hygiene products, and advertising the cupboard. I've spoken at town meetings, both physically and virtually, as I filmed a commercial for our school's news program, WPS 75, for this product. And this is a legacy project, so I picked it up from a previous NHS member, and I really hope that it keeps going. So the student who I'm partnered with and working on this, Katie Hurl, and I picked 2 students that are currently sophomores who we are training to keep up this project so we can keep giving back to our Winthrop High School students. And we have applied for and earned the Nourishing Neighbors grant, which has given us the money to be able to consistently supply our cupboards with the resources that students need. This is my project, and thank you so much.
I have a quick question for you. Hi, Sylvia. It sounds like this project, I was aware of this project a few years ago when I was working at the high school, but it sounds like it's really evolved significantly with the grant and with, I don't think we had outposts in the Rotunda. And were you part of that, or when you took it over, was that already in place, the outposts and the grant?
The grant and outposts were already in place. My job has mainly been consistently restocking them, making sure that they're always full. So that's what I've been doing with them. And also we have to reapply for the grant every year, so that involves a video submission that we all worked on together and made a script for and edited and sent in.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Anna, this is Chris, and for our senior service product, we wanted to do something unique and kind of different for our community. So while pouring over ideas, we chose to actually add to an existing entity, God, I can't talk today, add to an existing entity that we'd already been working on for a couple of years. So for some context, for the past couple of winters, we've actually been working on stained glass projects over at Camp Metrowana. And this kind of started out as a hobby through their Youth Leadership Council, which we were a part of for a couple of years. And once the camp director, Norm, he's great, we love Norm,
He noticed we had an aptitude for it, and he actually ended up commissioning us to do some larger pieces. So I'll let Chris tell you about those a little bit to add some context.
Of course, we were happy to take on this project. The first winter we worked on the glass, we finished up a project for one of our coworkers. That's the dragon window up there. And then during our junior year, we decided to do another piece. And this time then we worked on the deer mosaic that's up there. And then our junior year, we decided to take on a piece that was much larger and much more detailed now that we have the experience. And we chose to create a landscape of Lower Narrows Pond, where the camp is located, with the infamous Metro-One Lagoon in the foreground. And this piece is now hanging in the commons at Camp Metro-One.
So both Chris and I actually ended up becoming employed at Camp Metro-One through our service to them, because we were able to build relationships with the people there, so that was great. And just in our time working there, we've gotten so much positive feedback on what started out as a hobby, because people were seeing these, and we got so many comments from like campers, staff, volunteers, visitors, just community members in general, about how our pieces were like making them feel a sense of place at camp and making them happy and making them want to try new things. So we thought that was really interesting, really cool. So when we had to choose a senior service project, naturally we decided to add to this entity.
So we began in the late summer and early September by talking with camp director Norm about the concept ideas. He wanted us to incorporate elements that would be for boating and the lodge, which is one of the oldest buildings on camp on the way to boating. And that's also where the window is going to be displayed, is in the upstairs of the lodge. And once the template was made by Annabeth, we gathered our materials and got started. We chose a window donated by Annabeth's family and used primarily scrap glass that we had from other projects. We probably only spent around $40 in glass in total for the whole window, which Annabeth and I fronted, and we did our best to use the resources we already had. So it was very low cost for making such a big window.
Okay, so we spent hours and hours tracing shapes, cutting glass, grinding it down to the perfect shape. It was super time consuming, and we were fortunate enough to have a friend and coworker of ours, Soshi Granza, so a big shout out to her. She helped us grout it. She came in and showed us how to do it properly, so that was nice. That was painful, but it got done, and the time and effort put into it was definitely worth the end product.
After around 45 hours of planning, breaking glass, and extensive touch-ups, the piece was finished, and Norm has posted a sneak peek of the finished work on the Metro-One Facebook page, and it's already getting so much positive feedback from the community. I checked it the other day, and it had just a bunch of comments, just with amazing reviews, and people are already looking forward to it, that they can visit and see it this summer in the lodge.
So this piece will be on display at the high school for the next week or so. It'll be there for Arts and Humanities Night. We're going to try to get it lit up, so if anyone wants to come and visit it, we would love to have you. We got a lot of positive feedback at induction last night, so we appreciate that. And overall, we're just super happy with the final result, and I can't wait to see the impact that this makes on Camp Metro-One. And just a big thank you to Norman Toms and Soshi Granza for all their help, and everybody here tonight and the whole Winthrop community. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Monica?
Yes, I did just have a comment and a quick question. Stunningly beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, and I love how you were able to create, bring your creativity and your artistry into the community, to beautify the community is just absolutely stunning. My children both went to Metro-One. I'm wondering if Norm or anybody else has shown any interest in maybe offering a little bit of glasswork stuff for some of the older campers in years coming up?
So we actually got into their youth leadership council we went to the night camp program for a couple of years, early in high school, late middle school, that sort of time period. And he selects kids who I don't know, conduct themselves well as youth leaders. And they have a counselor over there now, kind of training to be staff members, and that's an activity he offers for kids who are in that program.
Yeah,
So,
that's actually kind of where we got our start making these videos.
yeah, that's how we landed our job there. So,
Really terrific.
thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful
I do want to say, I've seen a lot of the glasswork there, and it's gorgeous. Pictures don't do it justice. You definitely got to go down and see them, especially when the light reflects through it.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and presenting. We'll head into our new business, starting with 6.1, to approve the following for first read. AC, non-discrimination, equal opportunity, affirmative action. ACAA, harassment and sexual harassment of students. ACAA-R1, student discrimination, harassment, and Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures. ACAA-R2, student discrimination, harassment, and Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures. ACAB, harassment and sexual harassment of school employees. ACAB-R1, employee discrimination and harassment complaint procedure. ACAB-R2, employee sex discrimination harassment complaint procedure. And the last one, EEAEA, student transportation employee requirements, training and responsibilities.
Good job. Thanks. I think ACABR2 should say employee sexual discrimination and harassment, but I will check to confirm. Good evening. I'm Alexis Discolius. I am the district Title IX coordinator. On January 9th, 2025, a federal district court vacated the Biden administration's 2024 Title IX regulations, which we were so diligent at putting into place. This means that the 2020 regulations are now in effect, and the Department of Education will enforce them. Consequently, the 2020 regs, which were in place before August 2024, are now the governing rules for Title IX enforcement. Winthrop Public Schools did not have any outstanding filings that would be affected by this change. Overall changes, we have deleted sex stereotypes. So sex stereotypes, as you may recall, are men are doctors, women are nurses. What else has been deleted is sex characteristics. That would be inappropriate comments about physical characteristics typical to a specific gender or sex. Genetic information, which is relatives' medical or psychiatric history, and then pregnancy or related conditions. This is deleted from the Title IX policies and regulations, but we as a district are keeping, I assume this is obvious, but I want to make sure everybody understands, we are keeping JIE, which addresses modifications for pregnant students. The changes are the big changes are the timeframes are back to calendar days instead of school days. All Title IX complaints must be in writing. This does not include incidents that happen outside of school, and I can explain more if anybody needs clarification. I figured that was a kind of a broad way to explain it. Complaints and incidents must be subjectively and objectively, as opposed to or, and they must be severe and pervasive, that it limits or denies a student's ability to have access to their education. So we're back to and as opposed to or. I want to clarify, the reason that we can simply not revert back to the policies we had prior to these new policies is that because those policies still needed to be updated. Honestly, the biggest update, it's very simple, is that we separated both our policies, so the student one and the employee one, into R1 and R2. R1 is simply, in layman's terms, R1 is everything that's non-sexual based, so any other harassment and or affirmative action. R2 is all the sexual harassment based situations. My recommendation and the state's recommendation is to have those separate simply because it makes it so much easier if you have a complaint or you're dealing with something, you're focusing on, you're going to the right file, so to speak. You're pulling up the right drawer. I feel like it was much more complicated than that, but I think I just explained it all. And if if anybody has questions, I'm certainly happy to answer them. I really appreciate the policy committee taking the time to review these. And I know that other schools are reverting back, but if we have reverted back, we would just be here again, because then we would need to move forward with those policies. Hence why we couldn't just simply revert back.
Mark, any question?
Yes, so you mentioned that these don't apply outside of school. Do they apply while a student is on the school bus?
Yes.
Okay.
So anything, so I should have kept in a longer sentence. So the longer sentence is school sanctioned activities.
Okay.
So there's a whole, where it doesn't apply, and again, obviously school administrators take any kind of situation very seriously, but it wouldn't follow under a Title IX regulation, a federal regulation. For example, if Susie Q was doing something to Johnny Smith on the phone and it was happening at home outside of school, that doesn't mean that the administrators of the building aren't going to try to deal with it. It's just not going to follow under Title IX regulations.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other board questions? I know we're kind of skipping a step. I needed to take a motion.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Maybe
you're
because
fine.
Just to make sure I understood what you said.
Absolutely.
So, are we reverting back to the original Title IX?
Yes. We are reverting back to the 2020 regulations. However, because at that time, the way Winthrop Public School regulations were written, we hadn't yet separated out the sexual harassment versus non-sexual. So we couldn't, we could have, but then we would have had to do this again based on what the state is recommending. This way, we've reverted back to the 2020 regulations, and what we've done is kept those separate drawers, so we know where to look when there's a complaint.
Yeah, which makes sense. And the other one I had was, again, reverting back to Title IX.
Yep.
The educational activities, does that include sports?
Yes.
So that's kind of where my question was, because I know there's a lot of debate right now. With the gender identity, biological males and girls sports.
Sure.
I know that's a heavy debate.
Yeah. No, I was fine.
So my thing is, that's a heavy debate. One, I think a couple options would be one, it kind of should be held on its own, almost in a future school board meeting, so it can be put out there for people to talk on it. Or B, we table it, because as we see in the courts, we don't know. It looks like it's going to be reverted back. Well, we don't know.
Correct.
So
right now, the state of Maine and any public school right now, I shouldn't say any, most public schools are following the state standards, as well as the Maine Principals Association recommendations, as well as, it was the third one I was going to say.
Human rights.
Thank you, human rights. Thank you, Dr. Foley. It was right there. As well as the human rights regulations. So right now, the way the state has their human rights regulations, it would include transgender students playing in the sport of their identified gender. I know that doesn't answer your question, but that is the start.
It's in that legal debate right now. I just think it's a hot topic. I think would be, almost, I don't know, I think that this one maybe should be tabled for maybe 30 days or whatnot, so before the courts decide what the legal is with Title IX. But
Could I have a second motion, just so we can officially?
Seconded.
Thank you. Thanks. Just so we can have a discussion. So you're wanting to, is that the ACAA dash?
Yeah, that's the,
ACAA is the policy, and then you have the procedure,
yeah, that's just the AC.
or the,
I think
Non-discrimination.
he's talking just AC, non-discrimination, equal opportunity. And
oh, that's,
affirmative action.
okay, thank you.
And it's just the activities, it's not, nothing else, I think, just the activities piece.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Foley?
So like, say, I'm looking to you because to me, it would be, if what we're proposing here is just that the Title IX policy
Correct. That
are going by the 2020 guidelines.
And the 2020 guidelines included the language that Tim, I believe you go by Tim, not Timothy, correct? Tim, okay, Tim is addressing. So,
Right, but even if, so I feel like the controversy right now is, I think the policy isn't, is the interpretation of the policy, right?
it's the interpretation of the policy or the fact that right now, currently, the state of Maine and the governor is not in
Agreement.
alliance or agreement, yeah, I was going to say alliance.
About the interpretation.
About the interpretation of the federal regulations, correct.
But I don't think even if we waited a month, that the wording's going to change on that. That's what I'm looking for clarification.
Yes,
Well, I think it could, very quickly. It could be, we may be stuck in complying, or individual school districts have to comply, or we're going to lose money.
No, but I think that's because of the interpretation of the wording.
Yes.
So I don't think, even if you adopted this, what I think we may gain in a month is clarity about the interpretation, but I don't think there's anything in the policy where the wording's going to change. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, then every other state in the United States is going to have to change their wording.
I think some are right now, some school boards are.
Okay.
They've changed so, because they are having issues with the biological boys on girls' sports teams. Which I know, again, it's a mess because of the legal issue right now.
Right, but I didn't realize they were changing the wording. That's the interpretation.
Ivy?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Tim on the fact that I know there's Title IX, but it also goes with JIE and JV, and I think that's where all the controversy sits around, is these three policies. I personally also agree, I think, with Tim that we should table this and have further discussion on it to be in compliance. I don't care about the politics on this. I care about following the laws and the regs, doing what's best in integrity and for our students to lead by example. Our speech last night at the National Honor Society of, being amazing pillars and doing what's right even when nobody's looking. I think this is something that we should definitely role model as adults and show our students that we can do the same, especially when there's we're stuck in the middle of this big situation of which direction do we go. Everything's up in the air. And I think just for, respect and for our schools, to just table this until we have more clarity on the direction that we take on this.
May I ask for clarity? Are you saying table all of these policies, or are you just talking about AC? I believe you're talking about just AC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
I just want clarity for the.
I think we.
I'm not on the board.
I think I don't have a problem. For just me personally, I have no problem with the word gender identity. I mean, obviously protections. I mean, all this stuff's good stuff. I think just that piece when it gets into women's sports.
Monica?
That I would point out, we are just approving these for the first reading. It's not like we're adopting anything different. And if you take a quick look, it's not, the changes that are being made are not really pertinent to your concerns. So it's just for first reading, and then, we can talk about if we feel comfortable about it then at that point. But I believe just giving it a glance over, it's really not pertinent to what you're talking about.
So I think, to kind of support Tim, maybe that we should put this on a school board agenda to have this open discussion. Maybe we can talk more on the policy or invite people to discuss this?
I don't know if we want to do that quick because I don't think we have any answers yet, is the problem, to have that type of heavy-duty discussion. But I guess we could, I mean, 2 weeks we could have an answer. I mean, the courts could say, hey, this is the way it's going to be. We need to make other decisions. But yeah, I think, it is only first reading, so. Right.
Well, the other thing that I want to point out is right now we've got, it puts Lexi in her position in a kind of tricky situation because now we have a board policy that is in conflict with federal law. So, I mean, that's what I'm...
So maybe we can just wait. I'll open it back up on second reading. I think just basically what I said will be repeated on second reading, because I think in 2 weeks we're going to get some answers.
I think things could change quickly.
Yeah. The same thing, we could have discussion in community or whatever.
Yes,
but-
and I think, and again, I would just encourage the public, anytime that there's like approval for the first reading, I think we're very open to any discussion or comments.
And Dr. Foley, you are 100% correct that any of these policies are up for interpretation. I mean, we all know that. So I think Maine is in a very can't be very unique, right, Monica? As an English teacher, Maine is in a unique situation in that we are waiting to see which master we are supposed to follow. And I agree with Dr. Foley, which is that we will be a step ahead. Somebody's going to tell us how to interpret the language, but we should be, based on what you've hired me to do, we should be in compliance with the federal regulation at this point. In regards to our policies, how you as a board decide to interpret and enforce those policies would then be up to you.
And I think the big thing that's the change that I guess we could emphasize is that under the previous policies, it was and or, right? When you're trying as the officer to determine,
Correct.
right? And now it's and right now without us having current policies, it's just putting Lexi in I just want you to appreciate the position that she's put in, because she either is breaking federal law or board policy today. If she had an investigation. I don't think today she's had one, but this is why we're trying to get ahead of this.
Which is why if we had an open case that hadn't been concluded at the time when they were on January 9th, when the regulations got reverted, we would have had to have then changed midstream what we were doing. Fortunately, in the short amount of time that I've been in this position, there's only been one situation, and it had already been one formal situation that got that far, and it had already been taken care of, had wrapped up and concluded. But exactly what Dr. Foley is saying, it would make me nervous that we could be creating a situation, a bigger map. I understand everybody's concern. I think it is a very hot topic, and I am very sensitive and very respectful of everyone's opinions. I think it's a very highly political and highly charged conversation. However, at this point, in regards to federal regulations, I highly recommend that we try to move forward so that we are in compliance, and then when somebody tells us how to interpret those words, then we can go forward.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll take a vote.
Well, I'm going to talk because we're doing it all for all of these. Can I talk to that?
Oh, sure, of course. Yes.
Thank you so much, Madam. You're welcome. The last policy that we're here for first read is a new policy, student transportation. And this would require our drivers to have their physicals done in the summer once they've been hired. And recently we experienced the unfortunate incident of having one of the driver's licenses expire and the driver not being able to drive until we got it renewed. And I think the reason there is this policy, it's not a required one by law, but it's just one that's just good local policy, because then you avoid that issue. And so I'm recommending that the board adopt this new policy.
much for explaining that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so vote to approve the following for first reading. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to 6.2, to approve the outing club overnight field trip to Adventure Bound, Caratunk, Maine, May 16th through the 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, presentation?
Yeah, hi, I am Kristen Kaiser. I'm the art teacher at the high school. I'm also the advisor for the outing club. And the Whitewater trip is to be our third annual Whitewater trip to the outing club. It'll be, it's a, unfortunate the date also corresponds with prom. So my numbers have come down to, I think, I'm aware of 5 students who are game to go. And it's a Friday, we leave Friday after school, we come back Sunday. And it also, this is through Adventure Bound up at Caratunk. And on Saturday, we'll do, the options are for canoeing, climbing Mosquito Mountain or Pleasant Pond, some rock climbing there, there's a pool, a hot tub. Last year, my first year, Ms. Hubert, previous year, she took the kids there. And it was a fun time, I had a great time with it. We made friends with a bunch of other schools that do this through Teens and Trails. And other than having the prom being the same date, the other hitch is that this year, previous 2 years, it's been provided through a grant. And the only thing I had to ask my students was $20 just to like get some food and we cook for a couple of meals. One meal is provided by the facilities there, but other than that, it'd be 2 dinners and 2 breakfasts and a breakfast and a lunch. And this year, there's nothing provided for that, so I had fronted the $150 just to get my foot in the door, in hopes that things would be given a blessing, and then it's also $75 a head. So I am trying to do some fundraising for that with some bottle drives and a bake sale next week at the Art and Humanities. So that is the other hitch I'm trying to work with right now. But so I'm asking for permission for kids to go, yes.
Are they going to be staying in yurts again?
No, we tented out for this. This is a tent situation.
Yeah, and I have 2 big bags of bottles.
Oh, okay. Oh, good, thank you.
Monica?
I have a quick question on that. The first year with Sarah Hubert is so fun, but my concern is liability. Who covers the liability insurance?
Yeah, so the past 2 years, it has been high school.
The high school.
Well, like, things that would happen like on the boat, like at Adventure Bound, that's at Adventure Bound, but like other things outside that, that'd be with us. It's always, I understand, part of the course.
So our policy covers that?
That's my understanding. I was told that that's how our insurance would cover that.
Okay.
That's why,
Okay.
sorry.
That's what my understanding was from the previous superintendent.
So sorry. Well, not sorry, but that's why when you do an overnight trip or a trip out of state, you have to have a different permission form, and that is why you have to seek board approval. So the board is, wow, I'm really sorry. I think I have chemo brain tonight because my words aren't coming to me. The board is aware, sanctioning, approving, but also in your vote of approving the field trip, then it is covered under the liability insurance. If the board didn't approve it or didn't know about it, then it's not covered under the liability insurance. And that's why there's a different permission form that we use when we either take students overnight or across state lines.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Monica, do you follow up?
Yeah, I do. I hope that that we have somebody that has eyes on, because that we can double check and make sure that that really is embedded in the policy. Can we do a double check on that? And if we want to approve it tonight, let's make sure we've got our I's dotted and T's crossed.
I do want to say that my oldest child has attended these, and it is great student team building. They all look out for each other. They all build some great relationships, and they do a lot of learning together. So I've never heard of any issues. The pictures are amazing, they're well taken care of, and, you know, I think this is an amazing opportunity for all of them.
Perfect. Any more discussion? Okay. And to Monica's point, we were going to have someone do the salt for us. Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming I can ask Colleen or Ida and they'll be able to check for me, but
Okay.
that's always been my understanding.
All right. All those in favor? All right. Perfect. Have so much fun.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Next unanimous vote. Okay, we'll move on to item 6.3, which is consideration and approval to employ a drama theater teacher at the middle school and high school for the 2025 to 2026 school year as recommended by the search committee.
Thank you. I'm happy to recommend Daniel Gay as the middle high school drama theater teacher. Daniel comes to us with 12 years of experience in education. He has his bachelor's and master's from USM. He has also experience with ELL students and is most recently a fourth grade teacher over at Leeds Central School. And I love that one of his references wrote, Danny is humble and goes above and beyond in every aspect of his life. This includes working on shows, teaching in his classroom, or spending time with his family. He will work himself to the bone, and he does this with a smile and very little complaining. So we're excited to welcome Danny to Winthrop Public Schools. He's got extensive experience in like community theater, and it's just really excited he said there's just not that many opportunities that the drama theater positions do not come open very often, and so he was delighted when he saw this.
All right, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, or we're all set with that, right? Okay, and all those in favor? All right, well, welcome along, Daniel Gay. And that was a unanimous vote. Okay, we'll open up our second session of public comments. If there are folks in the room who would like to speak, please step up to the podium, or anyone on Zoom, please indicate so. Would anyone volunteer? Oh, okay. Okay, no takers for the public comment section, so we will head into our school board comments. Anyone like to speak at all? Ivy.
I just want to share that I had the honor of attending last night's National Honor Society. I also want to congratulate Evan Bilodeau and Jackson O'Hearn. It was an amazing ceremony as always. And I also want to thank all the seniors who are received their sash and have handed off their light to the next group. I wish you all an amazing future, and I know you guys will continue to light the torch for another person.
Thank you, Ivy. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll just do a quick recognition to Tom MacArthur. I knew for a while, but it's official that he's resigned from the basketball, and the amount of hours he puts in is insane. Not just the high school team, but people don't realize the hours, just the little kids, the youth, middle school. I mean, every weekend he's with those boys. So I just wanted to, it's going to be a big loss, but I understand why he's doing it. But I just wanted to recognize him publicly.
Thank you, Tim. Any other board members? Okay. There's no executive session, so without objection, I declare this meeting adjourned at 6:55.